Hello, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about ASICs. And what an ASIC is an application-specific IC. So what that means is it's a proprietary type of approach to owning the technology, owning your chip, owning your design, and being able to take that from concept to production. And so Spirit's here as a partner to help you do that. For the most part, we see this being applicable when our customers are trying to maybe provide some obsolescence mitigation if they have a component. We see this with memory a lot of times where the component's going to go obsolete. And so they say, well, instead of buying $10 million worth of this packaged finished product, what we're going to do instead is just purchase the die, purchase the wafers, and then engage with Spirit to store these long-term in our nitrogen chambers. Ultimately, we can help with procuring the technology that's required to continue manufacturing that product as it was originally done by the OEM, but instead it's through the Spirit channel. And so we provide the storage, we provide the testing, we can provide the packaging of this component, and ultimately allow the program to continue using this part for another 10, 20, 30 years as it's required. So that's one area where we see an ASIC being applicable. Another area that we see pretty commonly is when there's a family of parts that are being used in a program or an application pretty consistently. And so as you can imagine, maybe you have a family of 10 components that are taking up real estate on a board, and our customers want to shrink that into one chip. And so, that again allows them to own that design. It shrinks the space, they can shrink their boards, it saves on heat, it saves on power consumption, and it saves, of course, on the real estate, which is big, especially when you're talking to folks like, the automotive sector, anything in the military, aerospace. It's a big deal. You have to save space, and so that's how we help them get there. When we first engage with customers on an ASIC, what we do is we look at the program, we look at the requirements, and then we engage directly with the foundry, and that's really where it all starts, is with the die. And so we have a relationship with all the major foundries out there, and we can even get something that's called a shuttle wafer run performed. And so where that helps out is with a cost reduction. Instead of having to buy a full boat of wafers, we can just get a smaller quantity that more meets the volumes that you're gonna expect to consume within your program. So that's really where the process starts, is getting those wafers, those die produced, and then we bring them in-house in Spirit. We can do a wafer probe, and so we use our high-end machinery, our high-end test equipment to probe and test that wafer, and we can do that at temperature. So our wafer trucks are specially designed to be able to elevate or reduce the temperature down at the die level. So it's not an ambient type of temperature adjustment, it's really at the die specific level. And then we can wafer probe it, we create a map, and then we can bin that die out, and that way if it's meeting a commercial grade, industrial grade, military grade type of speed or performance. And then we would go from there and get the wafers diced and in accordance with how the binding's done, and we would pull them out and put them in waffle packs. And then from there we've got binned out die that we know are known good die, and those are the ones that will ultimately get put in the finished packaged product. And so that's again where we kind of step in, we go and get those die packaged up, and then we can even test and screen the package component at the end of the day. So really, if you kind of step back and look at it, we're taking it from design, even concept in some cases, getting those die produced, processed, tested, screened, binned, packaged up, and then finished test on the actual packaged product. So really, it's a full turnkey approach. It's a one-stop shop for a process that's typically pretty complex, that requires a lot of different partners and moving parts to get it done. Spirit's here to help you from A to Z, and really hands-off approach for our customers.